Right, so the final UFC event of the year just got done, and I'm telling you, the UFC went out with an absolute bang. What a tremendous night of fights it was. UFC Tampa is in the books. I just finished commentating. The fights were fantastic. I'm telling you, the best fight night probably of all of 2024. And there may be a little recency bias, but I'm going to go through all of the fights. I just finished calling them. I walked back to my hotel. I am exhausted. It's 2:05 in the morning. I haven't eaten a thing all day. I'm starving. I'm very thirsty. I'm going to go have a cheeky little drink. But first of all, we're going to talk about these fights. So let's start with the main event. Okay, the main attraction, Joaquin Buckley going up against Colby Covington. So first of all, Colby Covington, this man puts on a show every single time. You've seen it by now. The Hulkamaniac, brother, or the Hulkamaniacs, they were out in style because Hulk Hogan walks out, Colby Covington, along with Chael P. Sonnen, the original bad guy. I mean, the things that Chael Sonnen saw when he was growing up was crazy. You know, yeah, sure, they had him made, but sometimes they only came once a week. If you've seen that bit from Chael, it's brilliant.
There was years where my father didn't even make $100,000, or barely made $100,000. And sure, we had him made, but she only came twice a week. What do you think happened the other 5 days? You think those dishes wash themselves?
Anyway, so he walks out with Hulk Hogan, walks out to that I Am a Real American. And it was great to see. You know, as a kid growing up in the 80s, I was a massive Hulk Hogan fan. So that was pretty cool. Sadly, though, it doesn't matter who walks you out. It doesn't matter who's in your corner. You still got to fight by yourself. And tonight, Joaquin Buckley, new Mansa, 6 wins in a row now, and no wins bigger in his career than Colby Chaos Covington. So, Buckley, super explosive, very powerful, dynamic, fast, slick, explosive, whatever adjective you want to use. That's a good one when it comes to Joaquin Buckley and his striking, it's applicable. And of course, the takedown defense was on point tonight as well. He did get taken down a couple of times, but for the most part, he controlled the fight. Colby Covington, fair play, I respect him. Stepped up on short notice, wanted to defend his spot, wanted to prove that he's willing to take on young up-and-coming contenders. But tonight was not his night. He wasn't good enough, he wasn't quick enough, he wasn't powerful enough with the wrestling. Joaquin Buckley just kind of picked him apart, busted him up early, opened up a cut right on the eyelid. We'll get to that in a little bit because that's what stopped the fight. But it was a really good performance. Now, granted, Colby Covington, as the fight was going on, he was having more success with the wrestling, but his face was a mess. He was getting pieced up by Joaquin Buckley. Buckley's a powerful man, and he's a bad mother effer. He's been in a mood all week. He's had a real chip on his shoulder, and he uses that to fuel himself, okay? Right? Some people don't necessarily want that negative energy, but Joaquin Buckley, listen, all day long, negative energy, whatever you want to call it, the man's getting results inside the octagon. He's clearly working his ass off. He stopped most of the takedowns tonight, and he pieced up Colby Covington on the feet. Now, as I say, first round, nasty cut opened right above the eyelid. Now, in between rounds, they cleaned that up and it doesn't look too bad. But within seconds of every round starting, the blood was pouring down the face. And when he got to round 3 or 4, whenever it was, when did it stop? Round 3. When he got to round 3, his face was a mess. Even when I got in the octagon to interview Joaquin Buckley, there was massive pools of thick blood all over the octagon. I had to sidestep him and, you know, I didn't want to slip on my ass and look like an absolute dildo. Yeah, there was a lot of blood. And Dan Mergliata said to him at the start of round 3, listen, you got to protect that eye because you're this close to it being stopped. Now, it's a shame for Colby because he was doing okay in terms of the wrestling, and there were still 2 more rounds left. And of course, Colby's going to say that it was stopped because of a cut, and he's going to try and discredit the win of Joaquin Buckley. It wasn't the worst cut we'd ever seen, but there was a lot of blood. So I had no problem with the stoppage, but got to say fair play. Joaquin Buckley got the job done. Where does Colby Covington go from here, though? That's the real question. And will we see him again soon? Okay, because if I'm Colby, you want to turn it around pretty quick, but you want to do it on the back of a full training camp. Now, before that, oh my God, take a bow. Cub Swanson, killer Cub Swanson. This man's been fighting for the UFC or the WEC since 2007. 45 professional fights, 41 years old. And yeah, he's had his ups and his downs, but I'll tell you what, when this man is on, he is a lot of fun to watch. And tonight against Billy Quarantillo, what a fight. Absolutely brilliant from both of them. Cub Swanson starts off quick, slick, hands down, pimping him, lunging in, blitzing in, landing big shots, head kicks, you name it. He was in full control. But Billy Q, he's not a man that's going to be beaten easily. And he's got the ability to bite down on his mouthpiece. He got the clinch a few times. He landed some shots. He wobbled Cub Swanson a few times. There was a beautiful knee in round 2 that landed. And it was starting to look a little bit worrisome. If you were in the camp of Cub Swanson, it looked a little bit troubling because he's 41 years old. That's a lot of wear and tear, a lot of miles on the clock, a lot of miles on the chin. He's absorbed a lot of shots over 45 professional fights. But that didn't matter because in round 3, boom, that clean right hand landed a left hook first to set it up, then boom, right hand straight down the pipe, sits him down, knocks him out, puts him to sleep. Flush to the mush, whatever you want to call it. Cub Swanson is an absolute class act. He's a great human being. He's a legend of the fight game, and I couldn't be happier for him. That might be knockout of the night, and it might be fight of the night as well. That remains to be seen. Anyway, before that, what a performance again. Manel Kape versus Bruno Silva. Manel Kape was pimping him. He was being the matador to the bull. He was so fast. It was unbelievable. Now, granted, Bruno Silva kicked him in the balls a few times and had a point deducted. But still, tonight, Manel Kape, he was just too quick, too slick. He was too good. He was all over the place. He was putting a show on. It was kind of reminiscent in some ways to Anderson Silva versus Chris Weidman when Weidman knocked out Anderson Silva because he was taking the piss out of him. He was disrespecting him. But the speed of the shots and the accuracy was just brilliant. Now, bearing in mind, Bruno Silva was on a 4-fight win streak, 4 stoppages in a row, 4 bonuses in a row, and Manel Kape went out there, and I think he fights Alejandro Pantoja next. After that performance there, it would be crazy if he doesn't get the next shot. Right, before then, it was a couple of decisions. Daniel Marcos beats Adrian Yanez. Now, this was a really close fight. Could have gone either way. Adrian Yanez is an incredible striker. Daniel Marcos is undefeated. 17-0, and he's beating some great guys, and that was a really fun fight. Very, very educated striking affair. Yanez has got beautiful boxing. Daniel Marcos was getting a little bit tired at times, but he landed some big shots. It was a very close fight. Could have gone either way, and Marcos got the job done. And then opening up the main card, Navajo Sterling took on Tuco Tarkas and won a decision. Looked like Navajo was going to get it done nice and quickly in the beginning, but Tuco Tarkas got a few takedowns here and there, toughed it out and saw the final bell. Now, a few other notable performances. Michael Johnson knocked out Otman Azaitar. Oh my God. Take about Michael Johnson, 38 years old. This man feels like he's still got what it takes for a run at the top, to be one of the best. I mean, he's been in there with a who's who of the lightweight division. You name a top fighter, he's been in there. He's knocked out the likes of Dustin Poirier, granted, a long time ago. Just engage it. I mean, the list goes on. I don't need to go through it. And tonight against Otman Azaitar, he looked very good. The boxing, as always, was great. But then in round 2, boom, straight right, boom, puts him to sleep, sets the crowd on fire. Of course, he resides in Florida. Before that, again, round 1, what a stoppage. Joel Alvarez. Joel Alvarez, 6'3" at lightweight, is a problem. This man is a finishing machine. 22 wins, 22 finishes, 5 knockouts, 17 submissions, and the majority of them are in the first round. And against Drakkar Klose, who's a tough guy, who, by the way, his brother, this is crazy. I didn't have time enough to go into it on the broadcast. His brother was murdered in August in a random attack. Some random dude went over and stabbed him 20 times in the chest. The actual knife broke in his chest, so he went and got another knife and continued stabbing him. It's just an awful story. So, of course, our sincerest condolences and thoughts and the prayers and whatever you want to say. I mean, it's just an awful situation. So fair play to Drakkar Klose for even showing up. But sadly, in the octagon, people don't take things like that into consideration. Joel Alvarez, as a lightweight, this man's potentially a future champion. I said it, right? The only person to beat him, well, there's been 2 in the UFC. Arman Tsarukyan, who's fighting for the belt, and Demiris Magulov, who's a really, really talented fighter. Other than that, he smoked everybody, finished everybody. Daniel Bellara, Joseph Duffy, Alexander Yavlev, Thiago Moises, Mark Jacasey, Elvis Brenner, and of course tonight, as I said, against Drakkar Klose. Well done to that man. Before that, we also had Sean Woodson that got the job done in the first round. 6'3" as a featherweight. Ridiculous boxing. Sean Woodson now has had 3 wins this year. Keep an eye on that name. I'm telling you, there's big, big things coming from that man. Fernando Padilla was also a tall guy for that weight class, but the boxing was too much, and it was again right hand. The basics, boys and girls, the basics, the jabs, The right hands, the 1-2s, don't get me wrong. Spinning wheel kicks and somersaults and all that shit, that's great. We love it. Calf kicks for days, head kicks, shin on chin, whatever. But these fundamentals are what get the job done 9 times out of 10. And that's why we love it. Special mention to Davey Grant, had a hard-fought victory over Ramon Tavares. You might have heard on the broadcast as well. Ramon Tavares, his mother's house was shot up on Sunday or Monday night. The house was shot 29 times in like a drive-by shooting. It's just crazy what is going on in the world. Anyway, I'll tell you what's going on in UFC. The end of a spectacular year, an incredible event. Well done to Joaquin Buckley. And a new contender has emerged. That is a fact. I'm telling you right now. Future champion, I don't know about that. But I'll tell you what, it wouldn't surprise me. If you're still here by now watching this video, I appreciate you all. My neck, look at this, is a little bit better. That's why I'm able to do this at 2 o'clock in the goddamn morning. So the videos will be popping, the lives will be coming, and the content will be created. Okay, so make sure you come by, you subscribe, you ring the bell, and all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. See you soon.